everyone, this is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Yeah, I know I've been away for a few days, but actually I haven't. I've just been in the garden and cleaning it up. There isn't really an awful lot to show you there yet. I do have a little video out, but I haven't published it yet. And anyway, it does appear as though most people's main focus is still on food shortages and potential price increases, obviously. I think more than food shortages, we are seeing hefty price increases. At least I am. I have documented my last visit to one of the grocery stores that I attend. And yes, there are holes, and they do seem to have substitute products for, say, something that you know, maybe your particular brand isn't available, but there is something else available. So I don't really notice so much that food is not available. My notice is more based on the fact that everything costs a lot more. So the other thing I look out for, and I do this every time I go shopping now, I look for price increases, I look for availability, and I look for panic buying. And to date, I have to admit that I am not seeing any panic buying. And that happens in an instant. The last time that we had panic buying occur, and that was just before the pandemic, or just as the pandemic was becoming, before the whole population was becoming aware of the pandemic, there was panic buying. It wasn't just toilet paper, but that seemed to be the one item that caught everyone's attention because everyone was trying to buy every last package they could find. I know a lot of us are still concerned about how much we should stock, if we should stock, what specific foods we should stock up on, how much of it, for what term, and all these questions are very, or should I say that the answer to these questions are all fairly personal and very unique to each family and each individual. Somebody who lives on their own is not going to stock anywhere near as much as somebody who's got a family of, you know, 4 or 6 or more to feed. And space can be an issue. For me, it definitely is. And what to store and how long to store it for. So I mean, bottom line is the government has been telling us that there's going to be food shortages, which is something I've never heard in my whole life. Never ever has the government said, hey, you're going to be facing food shortages. So that to me is a pretty large red flag that there's something wrong. Normally they would try to hide these things from you, and just you're confronted with them. Well, they may try to deflect on what the causes of the potential food shortages are, saying that it could be the Russian-Ukraine war that has caused a lot of it, and I would suspect that that may have been a small portion or a small addition to what was already occurring. I think that we all know that there were problems well before the Russian-Ukraine war. Personally, I found that all the fresh produce was readily available. There were absolutely no shortages in fresh produce whatsoever. I found that meat was a lot more expensive, and there was not the abundance of meat that you normally would find in the stores, and it all cost a lot more. Chicken, beef, even pork costs more. Now, there are a number of things that I don't purchase, like canned beans. I can my own beans. I find it much more economical, but I found some of those on the shelves. The shelves were getting pretty low on canned beans. And Well, of course, the produce section seemed to be quite full, and everything is available. I saw no lack of fresh produce, of just about anything I might want, and a lot of things that I don't want. So that was pretty clear that there was no issues with produce. Okay, so one of the first signs was this fresh fish bin, which was pretty sparse, and everything else, the frozen stuff, seemed to be fine. I saw no lack of frozen produce and frozen fish or frozen anything of any kind. So it was the fresh fish, fresh meat that was probably either in short supply or extremely expensive. So I don't know if I pulled up close enough to be able to document the prices, but once again, everything was extremely expensive. And as I'm walking down the aisles, this is where you start to see a few holes. Now that kind of surprised me. We have canned beans there, and as you can see, the back of the shelf is completely empty. And they just brought the few cans that they had to the front to make it appear as though there was product. And there's a lot of holes in the products on these shelves, and I just go past them little by little, trying to document what kind of items seem to have holes and missing product. But as I said, overall, I don't really see huge amounts of shortages. Yes, there are holes. Yes, there is product missing. Yes, there is a particular brand maybe that you may want that is not available to you. So as I'm walking up and down these aisles, I do note the holes in the produce that is missing, and areas that once upon a time were always stacked full. We do find holes everywhere now, some larger than others, and some just substituted product that you wouldn't have in the past. So, but there is food available. There is no shortage, and as you can see, there is absolutely no panic buying. There are no crowds. They're just leisurely shopping around. Well, here's the ghee that I made the other day myself. So, and yeah, the olive oil pricing is through the roof there too. So. Once again, as you can see, a lot of empty spaces that, I mean, the price tags are there, there was produce there, and now there isn't. So it's not something I'm imagining, and it's not great big huge holes, but there are holes. Now here is something that either I just never looked for and never noticed before, but this day and age you notice things like that, and that is canned chicken, I suppose, rooster. And on the other side of this, these bins, I find some more luncheon meat. I suspect that that one is pork, but I don't know, and I had considered buying some, but for the time being I'll leave it. And as you can see, there's a ton of those. And I also find these little chicken Vienna sausages. Well, once again, these are items that I have never purchased in the past, but there seems to be quite a supply of them, and they are definitely shelf-stable products. I suspect a lot of people are buying items like that today, otherwise I wouldn't have that quantity of them sitting there in bins. And once again, back to the shelves and spotting little holes. Now, those luncheon meats didn't even get on the shelves. They just were thrown in bins. And I take it this is where spice shelves there and rice across from it, and the rice seems to be fine. no shortage of rice, but of course prices have increased on rice as well. And just about every item. And these are the brands of flour I would normally buy. It would be either the Robin Hood or the Five Roses, but the prices are just a little bit high, so I just bought the flour from Costco, which is still priced better. And all these other items, once again, holes on all the shelves, which once upon a time you never saw. Oh, and here I'm looking at powdered milk. I have never purchased powdered milk in the past. I have been considering it, but they only had 2 small packages of the Carnation brand, and the other one was the No Name brand, and they were both priced the same. So I thought, well, I'll leave that for this time around, but I'm keeping it in mind for the future. I am definitely interested in picking up some powdered milk. I have no idea what it's like, but I think it'll store well. I'm sure I can put that in mason jars and vacuum seal it, and it will store for a while. So that is one way I would prefer. And those Carnation evaporated milk cans were very expensive, and as you could see, the No Name variety was selling faster than the Carnation. At $2.29 a can, that is pretty expensive. So yep, cereal. I have not, oh well, I can't say I haven't bought cereal in a long time, but I'm cautious what cereal I buy. None of the ones that are very sweet. Even when my children were small, I would not buy sweet cereals for them. Mean mommy. So, more like Shreddies or Cheerios, unsweetened, of course. I never had sweetened when my kids were small. Oh well. So. As you can see, all kinds of empty shelves everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Oh, the juices, yep, quite low on the juices as well. And as I said, there's still stock on everything. It's just very small quantities of a number of items. So, anyway, I think you get a pretty good idea what we're dealing with up here. I don't know what you're dealing with where you are. Perhaps you would like to comment, put some comments in the comments section based on what you're dealing with and what you're seeing, whether it's just strictly price increases or whether you're seeing shortages. I'm sure some of you are seeing shortages as well. And as I say, there are 3 things that I keep my eye out for, and that is shortages, price increases, and panic buying. And I think that I will continue to keep my eye out for those 3 things and base my own actions according to what I see and what I find. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.